Hey guys, welcome back to another vlog, and we want to share something with you guys that has been a big question for a long time in this industry, and it's about the mahogany and the stranger genes. Now the stranger gene, of course, is one of the hotter, one of the newer, awesome genes. The mahogany has been a long-term bedrock of our industry. So the challenge is they're very similar mutations. They almost became a conspiracy in our industry for the last few years, is whether or not mahogany and stranger, they're actually the same gene or at least allelic. So I actually did a clutch in 2021 that would give us these results, that would kind of give us some answers on that. And I thought if you take a stranger and breed it to a summa, which is a super mahogany, combine those two and get something that's different than a summa, then we know they're definitely not exactly the same. But actually, before that even, SMS Morph, some awesome breeders, they bred a stranger to a mahogany and actually got an answer before my clutch even hatched. I got the opportunity to meet with them at a show and video their clutch and their results, and it's actually a little bit of a spoiler alert for mine, but I want to make sure they get the credit for having done this pairing and getting the results, and then we'll look at my clutch. Let's jump to the show. All right guys, so we are here with Bryce at SMS Morphs, and he is one of the early stranger adopters here in the US, and he has this clutch that is a stranger mahogany clutch combined. Now, go ahead and tell us the pairing on this one, and we'll talk about the babies.
The pairing was a super pastel stranger clown to a pastel mahogany 66% het clown.
Awesome. And this
I was
pairing,
not able to prove her out, but I got some really cool babies out of it.
This pairing was to prove whether or not stranger and mahogany are allelic in the sense that they'll have a super that looks a lot like a summa, because they are similar looking morphs in their base forms. So here we have a pastel stranger, straightforward, standard look. Then we have the pastel stranger mahogany, which is absolutely beautiful. And this one I actually think is killer. Yeah, right?
Yes,
super pastel, stranger, mahogany. But the main thing is just to look at this animal is a pretty strong indicator that stranger and mahogany are not allelic or not the same mutation at all, because the likelihood is that a combination of those two, if they were the same or highly similar or allelic, it would be a blank looking snake very much like a summa. Now we have something here that looks fairly blank, but that's actually just a result of the pastel, super pastel part kind of washing out these same little spots all over. A summa doesn't have those kind of little spots all over them. So hopefully this is kind of put this question to bed. Thanks for doing the pairing to prove this. I mean, that's really what it's all about, is learning and getting the evidence. A lot of people like to make claims without doing evidence, and I don't like to do that. I like to just say, you know what, we'll find out. And thanks to Bryce, we found out without waiting another year. So that was really awesome to get those early results. And based on the information there, it's pretty clear that stranger mahogany had a combo that was not an all black snake. It was not a blank snake like a super mahogany. So that was a really good indication. And actually it's around this time that I started to have some really interesting doubts about my clutch. So in our pairing, we had GHI and stranger and yellow belly in the mix, and my previous clutch has shown that could throw a relatively blank snake. It's because I hatched this combo that is a stranger GHI yellow belly red stripe het clown. And I saw this animal, this is from an earlier clutch, I saw this animal, I thought, oh no, we have a situation here where we have an animal that is mostly blank with just a stripe. So I started to get nervous, like, oh, what if I did this whole pairing and the results are not very conclusive? But the good news is that we did get some animals like that, but we also got some really conclusive, straightforward mahogany stranger combos to show you. And yeah, it's amazing. Let's check them out. Okay guys, we're gonna start with the baseline and move into the awesome combos. So here we have a standard mahogany, and just a straightforward, man, it sure is nice to get some of these like just straightforward, simple. The mom proved out to be a summa GHI yellow belly, so that made her look amazing and extra dark and beautiful, but also added a lot of extra genes to this pairing. But we did get a regular mahogany here. So this is mahogany GHI yellow belly, the sibling. This is the only other one that didn't have stranger. It got great stranger odds, but you can see how dark and beautiful this snake is with just the mahogany. In GHI yellow belly, you already have the sides starting to blank out a little bit. and you have that really nice and awesome stripe on the top. So we're gonna see more with this kind of blanked out look later in the clutch as we start getting the combos together. But first, let's look at some really basic Stranger Mahogany combos and see exactly what those look like. All right, guys, so here they are, Stranger Mahoganies, no other genes, straightforward. Let's take a look at this combo. So we managed to get two just straight, typical Stranger Mahoganies. Basically, they're not that reactive to each other. If you just took the two genes and layered them over each other, they don't come out with any kind of really crazy interaction or something very strange. Exactly what the SMS clutch showed us as well. Their pastel version wasn't that wild. It didn't have any really strange effects or anything. So as we bring in this comparison of the mahogany, regular mahogany with the mahogany stranger, you can see the differences. Pretty significant side difference, pretty significant head difference, but yet it's a pretty subtle combo, I would say. We definitely know these are not regular strangers because the mom, of course, was a Suma. They are all mahoganies, the whole clutch, which is really cool to see this change here in between these two, and a neat result. So the next one we're going to show you is adding Yellow Belly into this combo, and it really changes it up a lot. Okay, so we had the mahogany stranger from before, and then this one right here is just adding Yellow Belly into it. And you see, again, we're getting so much striping here when we start getting that stranger and Yellow Belly into one animal. I mean, I've seen a lot of strangers kind of stripe out as you add different combos to them, and that's definitely the case here. But look at the sides on those, and the darkness of this animal is way, way, way different, way cooler. So this is mahogany stranger, Yellow Belly, and 50% het clown, right? Because the dad was 100% het clown. And you can see the progression here of these combos. And again, they're not an all black, they're not a Suma, it's not an all black snake, it's actually a relatively subtle combo. So now we're going to get into the ones that I was really nervous about, but they're actually pretty straightforward. Okay, so this is the GHI and the stranger all in one animal, and of course it's mahogany as well because we had a Suma female. This is GHI stranger mahogany, and I think it's Yellow Belly as well. You can see it really is a very, very blank snake, but it actually has a really strong stripe. It's very different than a Suma, but to the layperson there, I think, oh, that looks similar, but it's very, very different, and you see how it's built. You can see it's very, very different. But it's a cool combo, and I really like it still. It's really neat. Of course, it's a 50% het clown, and what makes that really cool, just knowing that it's pos het clown, when we look at the last one we got in the clutch, the coolest one, we actually ended up with, I think, exactly the same combo, but this one is actually a paradox visual clown. Because it's paradox, we actually see these little sections of like the clown pattern actually coming through the pattern. We know that this one will, basically a guaranteed 100% het. And it's just a really, really cool animal to work with in the future. We know this one's gonna prove, and it's got all these awesome genes. We got mahogany stranger, GHI, and Yellow Belly, all in one awesome snake. And yeah, compared to its sibling, you can see how cool it is when you hit a really awesome paradox animal. It tells you more about what's in it, and it also has a really cool just visual feature to have those kind of blown up patterns on the side. Super, super awesome. All right, guys, that's it. I hope it puts a little bit of this question to rest. There's always gonna be more questions. We're gonna take some of these combos we made and breed them and see what those babies come out as, just to make sure it's not a lilac. But I think at this point, we're pretty clear that stranger mahogany, although they look similar, although they have some similar results in certain combos, they're not exactly the same. They're different mutations with similar outcomes. And so whether or not you want to spend the money for the stranger or you like those mahoganies that are much more affordable, how you want to take a collection is up to you. But I just like to try to bring you this information, and I needed it too for my own collection, just to learn how this all works and take that information forward. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.